All right, let's talk about this. Have you ever loved a movie that critics just absolutely trashed? Today, we're going to dive into the brilliant format of a podcast called Slept on Cinema. Their whole thing is that it's way more fun to celebrate movies than to tear them apart. So let's break down their toolkit for finding the joy in these, slept-on gems.
I mean, look at this. A 100 million piece of piffle. That's an actual review for the disaster movie Dante's Peak. We've all seen reviews like this, right? Some critic calls a movie garbage, but secretly, you're at home kind of loving it. And that's really the core idea here. It's so simple, but it's also kind of powerful, isn't it? The whole point of watching a movie shouldn't be to pick it apart and find all the flaws. No, it should be to actively hunt for the fun.
So how do they actually do it? Well, their whole show is built around these 5 key parts. Think of it like a toolkit for enjoying movies on your own terms. We're going to walk through their philosophy, the viewing ritual, how they draft the best parts, their one change segment, and finally, what it all means. Getting permission to just enjoy movies.
Okay, first up, their philosophy of fun. It all starts with this one core idea, making a deliberate choice to celebrate a movie instead of just criticizing it, especially for those flawed but, fun movies we all secretly remember and love.
So the show runs on this simple but honestly kind of radical premise. They're all about celebrating these misjudged movie gems. The idea is to find what works before you even think about what doesn't. So instead of starting with criticism, they kick things off with pure enthusiasm. And their goal, in their own words, is to give you permission to enjoy movies that the critics might have just thrown in the trash.
But here's the thing, this philosophy isn't just some abstract idea. They actually put it into practice before the movie even starts. The hosts have this amazing 2-part ritual that totally reframes how you watch the film.
So part 1 is called BOLO. That stands for Be on the Lookout. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The hosts give you a list of these quirky, funny, or just straight-up bizarre things to watch for while you're watching the movie.
And this is what's so brilliant about it. It basically turns the movie into a scavenger hunt. So for a movie like Batman Forever, you're not just following the story anymore. Nope, you're on the lookout for this weirdly specific focus on doors, or you're counting how many times someone cackles like a maniac. A pom-pom man, you gotta be kidding me.
Or take the sci-fi thriller Hollow Man. You might find yourself searching for a big gulp cup in a secret underground lab, or trying to spot the imprint an invisible person leaves on a chair. It completely changes how you watch. It forces you to lean in and catch all these wonderfully weird little details you would have totally missed otherwise.
Okay, so that's part 1. Part 2 of their pre-watch ritual is all about setting the mood. They pair every single movie with the perfect drink to really boost the whole experience.
So for a classic holiday movie like Ernest Saves Christmas, what do they suggest? A cozy mulled wine, of course. The whole idea is to connect what you're tasting and smelling directly to the vibe of the movie. It just makes the whole thing so much more immersive. You can practically smell Christmas just thinking about it.
All right, so you've watched the movie, you've checked off your BOLO list, you've got your drink in hand. Now we get to the real heart of the show, the draft.
Now they don't just sit around and list the things they liked. No, that'd be too easy. They turned it into a competition using a snake draft. They go back and forth, picking their absolute favorite parts of the movie. It could be a performance, a specific scene, maybe even a technical thing. It's basically a fantasy sports draft, but for total movie nerds. And what this does is create this really fun, structured debate. So for example, Stan might use his first-round pick on the incredible practical effects in Dante's Peak. I mean, they used miniatures and 800,000 gallons of water for a flood. But then Grove Street might come right back and snag Jim Carrey's completely unhinged performance in Batman Forever, pointing out that Carrey was literally the biggest star on the planet at the time.
Okay, but they don't just celebrate what's already on screen. They also get into the what-ifs. And they do this with an awesome segment they call One Change to Be a Blockbuster.
The question is so simple, but it's really powerful. What's the one thing you could change that would have turned this flawed movie into a massive certified hit? It's not about just pointing out what's wrong, it's a creative exercise. You get to imagine the film's absolute best possible version.
And their answer for the creature feature Anaconda is just perfect. The one change? Simple. Ditch the PG-13 rating and just lean all the way in to the R-rated gore that movie was screaming for. One of the hosts literally said, "Give me more blood, give me more guts, I want someone's head to explode." And yeah, that's it. It's about unlocking the movie's true, gloriously wild identity.
So let's bring this all together. When you combine all these pieces, the pre-game rituals, the positive draft, the constructive rebuild, what do you end up with? Well, you get a totally powerful and honestly, a much more fun way to watch movies.
This right here is the Slept On Toolkit. The BOLO list makes you an active, engaged viewer. The drink pairing sets the mood. The draft forces you to focus on what's good. And that one change segment, it lets you play with the movie's potential. It's a complete system for mining fun out of pretty much any movie you can think of.
And, this quote about the Wesley Snipes movie, Passenger 57, just sums it all up perfectly. Sometimes a movie is just a great formula. One guy taking down a whole team of hijackers, it just works. It's a great, fun ride, and you should never, ever have to apologize for enjoying that.
Which really brings us to the final big question, right? Are we just letting critics decide for us what's actually worth watching? In a world with endless movies and shows, who really gets to make that call? This whole approach suggests the answer is actually pretty simple. The only critic that truly matters is you.